I'll call the meeting to order. I did get a copy of the agenda. The only agenda is to schedule a town meeting for the 23rd, 2021. We can have a motion and second, we can have some discussion about it. I know Roseanne had one question. And you'll notice some of the items that are different than we were first proposing sent to the Board of Finance. We have had some discussion that we should continue to have in public here. So Kevin, you want to put the call?
Okay, Town of East Lyme, notice of a special town meeting. Notice is hereby given of a special town meeting of the Town of East Lyme to be held on June 23rd, 2021 at 7 p.m. at the East Lyme Town Hall Upper Meeting Room for the following purposes. 1, to receive communications from the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance with respect to a resolution entitled Resolution Making an Appropriation in the amount of $680,000 for the acquisition of a new fire engine and authorizing the issuance of $680,000 bonds of the town to meet said appropriation and pending the issuance thereof, the making of temporary borrowings for such purpose. 2, to consider and act upon a resolution entitled Resolution Making an Appropriation in the amount of $680,000 for the acquisition of a new fire engine and authorizing the issuance of $680,000 bonds of the town to meet said appropriation and pending the issuance thereof, the making of temporary borrowings for such purpose. 3, to receive communications from the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance with respect to the resolution entitled Resolution Making an Appropriation in the amount of $850,000 for the rehabilitation of various town roads and authorizing the issuance of $850,000 bonds of the town to meet said appropriation and pending the issuance thereof, the making of temporary borrowings for such purpose. 4, to consider and act upon a resolution entitled Resolution Making an Appropriation in the amount of $850,000 for the rehabilitation of various town roads and authorizing the issuance of $850,000 bonds of the town to meet said appropriation and pending the issuance thereof, the making of temporary borrowings for such purpose. 5, to receive communications from the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance with respect to a resolution entitled Resolution Making Appropriations aggregating $1,017,000 for various Board of Education capital improvements and authorizing the issuance of $1,017,000 bonds of the town to meet said appropriations and pending the issuance thereof, the making of temporary borrowings for such purpose. 6, to consider and act upon a resolution entitled Resolution Making Appropriations aggregating $1,017,000 for various Board of Education capital improvements and authorizing the issuance of $1,017,000 bonds of the town to meet said appropriations and pending the issuance thereof, the making of temporary borrowings for such purpose. 7, to consider and act upon a special appropriation for the following projects in CNRE Fund 32, which are consistent with the 2021-22 capital improvement plan. Municipal project, town projects, roofs, $10,000. HVAC replacement townwide, $15,000. East Lyme Waterford boat motor, $8,500. Townwide sidewalk repairs, $10,000. Townwide servers, $5,000. Revaluation, $85,380. CAD software and survey equipment, $4,000 for a total of $137,880. 8, to consider and act upon a special appropriation in the amount of $85,000 to be used as follows: $60,000 townwide parking lot repairs, resealing, $15,000 maintenance of town-owned dams, and $10,000 town-owned bridge culvert repairs, with the source of funds being the LoCIP program and accounts to be established titled with the state project number. These projects are consistent with the 2020-2021 capital improvement plan. 9, to transact any other business proper to come before the meeting. A copy of the proposed bond resolutions are on file and open to public inspection at the office of the town clerk, dated East Lyme, Connecticut, the 16th day of June, 2021. That's it.
Second. Mark Salerno.
Mark Salerno seconds. Any discussion? I'll start by saying that we did have all this American Rescue funding at our meeting that we forwarded to the Board of Finance. Since then, we had received the communication, the official communication from the U.S. Treasury that has really tipped our ability to spend this money on projects that we had so desired up on its end. It is pretty specific to be COVID-related spending. We've decided to pull back like most towns. We've pulled back. We're going to reevaluate. I have had meetings with the COG. We're going to have another one next week, sharing ideas. But CCM, Council of Small Towns, we're all kind of getting together to talk about the spending. We have $5.4 million to spend by December 2024. We don't want to rush into it. We do know that utilities such as water, sewer, and broadband, and all communications associated with the town communications systems will be eligible. Beyond that, it's a very narrow scope as spending goes. Yes, food kitchens. Yes, small town business districts could be supported. Beyond that, though, the capital projects that we had in mind probably aren't going to be eligible, at least initially. My thought is the government might open up our ability to spend this on improvements to existing facilities. But right now, by definition, we're not comfortable or confident in that, and we'd rather not spend the money and then get caught later with funding that we'd have to pay back that would not be eligible. So that's the explanation why that item is not being sent to the town meeting. We will have more discussions on that.
I'm wondering, after we've had some time to think about this, is there any FEMA money available for the dams and culvert repairs?
We do have some FEMA money left over from the big chunk of FEMA money we had. We only spent about 75% of it. So there is some FEMA money left over that we could consider sending to the dams. There's numerous projects, including boardwalk sealing, sealing of the cement on the boardwalk as it's getting to the age now where the cement concrete will create cracks from wear and tear. So there's many items, and we will discuss those as well the next round of funding next month.
Okay, so is it possible that if we've got this money, if we get the money approved, then if we could use FEMA money for the dams and the culvert repairs, we'd sort of pay ourselves back?
From American Rescue or from FEMA? Yeah, when we actually have the project to come before us, this is kind of like the CNRE, I believe. This number 8, am I right, Anna? That this CNR number 8 is just putting money in accounts. We don't actually have a dam project coming up, right? Or townwide parking lot repairs and sealing.
Correct. So with regards to the LoCIP program, one of the requirements when you're going to apply to the state to use the funds on a project is it has to be included in your capital improvement plan. And so there are some behind the scenes issues that are starting to crop up with dams and culverts within the town. So we wanted to have the ability to be able to allocate some LoCIP resources should these needs become critical during the fiscal year. And the LoCIP funds, like we have a rolling balance within the state program, and we can only apply to allocate funds as long as we have the balance within the funds. So this is just to, kind of like get us through if anything comes up as an emergency that needs to get done.
They're kind of placeholders, but as we create, there is one, the dam I think at Darrow Pond needs a bit of attention this year, but to rebuild a dam for several $100,000, we can consider some of the FEMA money for that.
Well, if I may, with regards to the dam at Darrow's Pond, in the current fiscal year, we've done some work there. We've done about 50% of the dam, and so one of the things we're looking to do with some of the money that we've allocated to dams is to go and do the second part of the dam, because we're required to get engineering reports on these dams, and the Darrow Dam was like at like a low, had a low rating. So we really did have to begin to address some of the issues there.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Comments? All in favor, say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Any abstain? I have promised you a 15-minute meeting. It's a couple minutes to go, but nothing else on our agenda, so I could take a motion.
Move to adjourn.
Second,
Second.
Daigle.
Paul Daigle seconds it. Any other comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you
Aye.
all. We'll see you at the town meeting on June 23rd.